welcome back to KAMMA. I'm Khalil Deal.
I'm Andio.
We are KAMMA. We are about to talk about UFC Fight Night Saudi Arabia. We got Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov in this one. This is going to be a pretty cool event in Saudi Arabia. We're going to talk about the early predictions for the prelims here. Just going to go through the prelims. We did lose. We did lose a fight just recently announced. We lost Cedricus Dumas versus Dennis Tiulin.
No.
Yeah, Dumas had some visa issues. I'm not surprised. The guy's a gangster. He probably couldn't cross the border. Couldn't get out of the U.S. Man. Cedricus Dumas is a gangster, so you never know. Had some visa issues, so that fight got canceled. Also, a replacement fight with Mohamed Naimov was supposed to fight Melsik Bagdasaryan. That fight got canceled, and it got replaced with Naimov and someone else. We're going to talk about that right now. So here is the list of the prelims here. The first fight is Long Jiao against Chang Ho Lee. After that, we've got Magomed Gadziasulov versus Bredson Ribeiro. Then we got Muin Gafarov against Kyung Ho Kang, Rinat Fakhretdinov against Nicholas Dalby, Nasrat Haqparast against Jared Gordon, and the main event of the prelims is Shara Magomedov versus Drolton Luterbach, who's also an addition that just came in on short notice there. All right, so this is it. Let's get it started with the first fight of the night. We got Long Jiao against Chang Ho Lee. And as usual, lead us into this one here, Andy O.
Yeah, okay. So here, Long Zhao against Chang Ho Lee. So this is the final of the fabled tournament for, I guess, this part of the world here. And I don't think either of these guys are like the cream of the crop in the fighting world. So from what I've seen, I guess, hold on a second. Yeah, I think Long is I'm going to be picking Long here in a decision victory. I think he's the better striker. I think he can probably keep Holy off of him because Holy is like going to be going for the takedowns nonstop. And I think he's better athletically. But I don't think either of these guys are very good. And yeah, I believe it's going to go to the decision. Sorry, I don't have much to say on it. Take it away.
Yeah, this one is a tough one. I actually had to go and watch some video on this one. I watched a couple of fights on Long Jiao and a couple of fights on Chang Ho Lee. I'm going to say this, Chang Ho Lee is a guy, he likes to pressure fight. He likes to walk down his opponents. He comes at you. He keeps coming at you and walks you down. He throws a lot of strikes, and then he tries to take you down. He is a guy who is pretty much a decent grappler. Long Jiao, however, he also can get takedowns. I saw him in a couple of fights. He was able to get some takedowns himself as well. What I like about him is that he's also got some submissions. And I think he's a better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter than Chang Ho Lee. Chang Ho Lee, he will get takedowns, but does nothing with it. From what I was seeing in the few of his fights, he gets you on the ground. Then he doesn't really do much with you on the ground except for trying to control you. Try to get some ground and pound, but he doesn't really have much skill on the ground that much.
He calls himself the Korean Khabib.
Yeah, well, I really didn't see much. The guy, we'll talk about. I'm going to get into that in a sec here about the record, but what I was saying is Long Jiao can get. I like the way he gets takedowns better. He's got some good trips. He trips you into a takedown. He's good at getting you down, and I think his takedowns. I like the way he looked getting takedowns better than Chang Ho Lee. Also, when Long Jiao was taken down in some of the fights I saw, he was able to get back up. He was able to scramble very well. He was able to get a sweep a couple of times, get reverse position, get on top, and he's a submission threat. Now you're gonna see he's much younger, 26 years old. Chang Ho Lee is 30 years old, so we got the 4-year youth advantage there. He's also 26-8 compared to Chang Ho Lee, who's 9-1. So much more fighting experience for Long Jiao. He's also going to have a one inch reach advantage there. These guys are the same height. But looking at the record, okay, um, this is what I wanted to talk about. Out of the 26 wins from Long Zhao, okay, he has, out of those 26 wins, let me just take a look quickly here. Okay, so he has uh, 4 wins by knockout, 9 wins by submission, and 13 wins by decision. So he's a very good all-around fighter, but I like the fact that he's got the submission threats there. He's a pretty good jiu-jitsu guy on the, he's got some good submissions. And that is where I feel is the slight edge over Chang Ho Lee, who doesn't have any submissions. If I look at his record, out of his 9 wins, I believe they were mostly KO or decision. Let me just double check there. But Chang Ho Lee has, yeah, he's got 4 wins by knockout. Yeah, he's got 2 submissions and 3 decisions out of those 9 wins there. So the pick for me is also going to be the same. I'm going to go with Long Zhao here. I think that he's the better fighter overall, the younger fighter. I'm going to go with the youth, and I'm going to go with the more experience too, with 26-8 there. Just has more fights under his belt, and I like the fact that he's got the submission threat there as well, and I like the way he takes down people better. So we are in agreement in the first fight of the prelims. All right, moving on up the card. Next we have Magomed Gadziasulov versus Brenson Ribeiro. Now, this is going to be another pretty tough one here because they're both fucking tough guys, man. Brenson Ribeiro they call him the gorilla. He's very, very tough. Magomed Gadziasulov is also very, very tough. 27 years old for Brenson Ribeiro, 30 years old for Magomed. They are both the same height, almost 6'3" for Ribeiro, 6'2" for Gadziasulov. And he also has a reach advantage there of 5.5 reach advantage for Brenson Ribeiro. But I'm going to go with Magomed Gadziasulov. I'm picking him because of the grappling. This is more of a grappler versus striker. I feel that Magomed is just better on the ground, better grappler. He also has some submissions as well. He's 8-0, undefeated guy out of Bahrain, looking very, very good. Brenson Ribeiro is very, very tough. He's more of a striker. He's got more power in his punches. But I just think it's just the classic grappler versus striker here. In a lower level fight, I'm going to go with the grappler. So I'm going to take Magomed to get the win here. Who you got here?
Yeah, Gaziazov actually, he has some power too, and he has some nice kicks as well. That's kind of what I'm afraid for Ribeiro. But I'm going to be picking Ribeiro in this fight. I'm going to be picking him to hurt Gaziov early on, and hopefully hurt him enough before he starts implementing a ground game in there. Because you're right, he does have the advantage when it comes to the grappling, but I think Ribeiro has more power, and he has more fights, and also Gaziazov has faced like bottom of the barrel competition, like really, really poor competition if you look at his record here. On top of that, in his contender series fight, he fought like this guy with he appeared to have very little skill, man, and he couldn't even put him away. So while Ribeiro is pretty hittable, I think he's gonna be able to at least frighten Gadziazov off and hopefully hurt him early on with some power and put him away probably late in the first round. So that's my call, going with Ribeiro.
All right, we are in disagreement in this one here. Just wanted to also mention that he did beat in the contender series. He did beat Jose Medina, who was 11-2. So he was actually a pretty good fighter, that guy.
That's the guy I didn't find had a whole lot to offer, man, and he should have put him away, really, I found, and he didn't. So I don't know. He was tough, though. Medina was tough. Like, he
Yeah.
took a beating, but he couldn't put him away, man. You're supposed to put guys like that away, I think.
And
Anyway,
then again, Brenson Ribeiro lost his first UFC fight against Mingyang Zhang, who's also really not that great, a 16-6 guy, and he got knocked out by him. Then when he fought in the Dana White's contender series, he did put away Bruno Lopez, who was 11-0 at that time. So it's going to be a close one, man. But I got the slight lean here on the grappler. Magomed. So, all right, we're in disagreement. We're going to move on up the card to the next fight here. We got Muin Gafarov versus Kyung Ho Kang. Who you got here?
Yeah, this one here, I'm going to be leaning Milin Gafarov. I think I don't. Kyung Ho Kang is kind of like a disappointment for me. I'm always leaving expecting a little more from him, especially for a guy that has a lot of submission wins and is capable of like good things on the ground. You're never going to see him try to get it there. So that eliminates kind of the ground game here. But I feel like Gafarov is the better grappler here. So if he gets on top, he can do some damage to Kang. I feel he probably has slightly better of a gas tank than Kang does. And I love Muin Gafarov's kicks. Like I expect kicks coming up high, coming up low, left, right, everywhere. And I think he's going to overwhelm Kang a little bit. I don't think he's going to end up finishing him because Kang is kind of tough to put away. So I'm calling another decision on this one, going with Muin Gafarov. But you, Khalil.
Oh man, we are in disagreement with this one here, man.
Oh,
I'm going with Kang, man. I'm going with Kyung Ho Kang. The reason why, I mean, out of his last 5 fights, this guy Muin Gafarov has lost 3 out of his last 5 fights. The last fight he lost to was a submission to Said Nurmagomedov. He subbed him. He also lost. Well, they both lost to the same guy, John Castaneda. Um, uh, the last fight of Kyung Ho Kang, he lost to John Castaneda, and Gafarov, the fight before Nurmagomedov, he also lost to John Castaneda. But I don't know. I just feel that he's too green. He's had 2 fights in the UFC, lost them both. Whereas Kang has fought in the UFC quite a bit. He beat Ping Hyun Liu by split decision. That was 4 years ago.
wow.
He lost to Randy Yaya by unanimous decision, but then he beat Dana Baggarel. He beat Dana Baggarel by unanimous decision. He beat Christian Quinones by submission, a rear naked choke, and then he lost to Castaneda. So I just like the more consistency and the more experience. He fought in the UFC more. I think Kang is better on the feet too. He strikes a lot better than Gafarov. I think Gafarov is more of a grappler there. Not that great on the feet, but also the height advantage that Kang is going to have. He's going to have a 2-inch height advantage. He's also packing a 5-inch reach advantage as well. And I think that's where Kang has the advantage with that reach advantage. I think that Kang is going to, he's a good fighter too, Kang. He likes to keep the fights. He's good at range. I think he's going to be able to get the leg kicks, the striking at range, and keep a distance between Gafarov. I think he's going to be good at stuffing the takedowns from Gafarov. I think he's going to land some hard shots on Gafarov. And yeah, I just got Kyung Ho Kang winning this one, probably by maybe by KO or decision in this one here. Let me just take a look at his record.
It's going to be hard for him to keep range on Gafarov's kicks, I find. So
It's going to be an interesting fight. He's got 12 submissions and 5 decisions, Kyung Ho Kang. So that's what I like about him. He's got jiu-jitsu there. If the fight goes to the ground, he is a threat with the jiu-jitsu threat.
not going to do anything from the bottom, man.
Yeah, but if he gets the takedown himself,
He's not going to do
he'll
that.
stuff the takedown.
I'd love to see Kang get it. Well, not now because I'm picking against him, but there's no way he's going for a takedown.
I think that in this fight, you never know. I think that at some point the fight could make it to the ground, and I think Kang is decent on the ground, especially with his subs. Gafarov is like a wannabe Dagestani coming out of Tajikistan. I think he's not one of the best guys there, even though his name ends with an OV. I don't think he's one of the best out of these guys there. So yeah, I'm going with Kyung Ho Kang here to get the win. All right, so we're in disagreement in a couple fights already. We'll move on up to the next one, which is Rinat Fakhretdinov against Nicholas Dalby. Who you got here, Andy?
Yeah, here I can't wait for this fight. I think it's going to be great. I think Renat has to finish this fight early-ish. Otherwise, Dalby's going to stick around and make it very interesting come later in the fight. Like, Dalby's looking great, especially at his age. He's one of those guys that's looking potentially at the best he's ever looked or near that. Uh, I don't know why more people aren't talking about the fact that, maybe the blueprint is there to beat Renat. He's kind of like a guy that wants to finish the fight off real early, be super aggressive. But if you can withstand that and take it into the later rounds, man, the chances of you winning the fight are a lot bigger. He won that, he had that draw against Elias Zaleski by gassing out later in that fight. And he had a 10-8 first round, let's not forget, right? This fight is kind of tough for me, despite what the odds suggest, but I'm gonna have to lean Fakhretdinov to lay down enough of a beating on Dalby to to win to either put him away late, or what am I saying? To put him away late second round or get the decision in this case against Dalby. I think it could be a referee stoppage on top of that. I don't think Dalby's going to give up. Don't forget, Galby's never been finished, right? So he's not the easiest guy to put him away, but I think the potential is there for Reynat to be the first one to do it here. So I'm gonna go with knockout. Sorry, yeah, a knockout decision for Renat in this one. Should be a great fight though. What about you, Kula?
This is definitely going to be a good fight, and I do think that Nicholas Dalby is a very live dog, man. Uh, he's tough as hell. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you, man. I thought at first you were going to go for Dalby the way we were talking, but I'm glad you went with Rinat. I am also in agreement. I'm going with Rinat Fakhretdinov in this one.
I really don't want to go for him, to be honest, but
This is another grappler versus striker situation here. I just think that Rinat is just a better guy. I mean, look at the age difference too, 7 year age difference, man. At some point, Nicholas Dalby, we have to start looking at him coming down eventually. Now, I know he looks really good and he's looking good in his last few fights there, but at some point he's going to break. He's getting up there in age, almost 40 years old. So also, Rinat's going to have the 1 inch height advantage there. Um, I like Renat to get the win with his relentless takedowns, his submission ability, and he's just better on the ground. He did score a draw against Elizeu Zaleski in his last fight. Prior to that, he beat Kevin Lee. He subbed him. He beat Brian Battle. Brian Battle is really good, and we both know that. We've seen how good Brian Battle is, and for him to beat Brian Battle by unanimous decision there, I like that. It's a very
he had like 20, he had like a 3 round fight. I think he had 14 minutes of top control Fakhretdinov in that fight. I remember Battle
yeah,
never
and
gave
Battle
up.
is good too. You know,
He never gave up, but
that's it. And he beat Andreas Michailidis as well, and got a unanimous decision there. I just like the fact that he's just, relentless with the takedowns and the grappling. You know what I mean? And he's got the submission threats there as well. Fakhretdinov is the pick for me. If we look at his record here at 22-2, out of his 22 wins, the guy has uh, 11 knockouts, 7 submissions, and 4 decisions. So pretty good guy there. Nicholas Dalby, let's take a look at him. He has, out of his 23 wins, he has he's got 7 knockouts, 4 submissions, and 12 decisions. You're right. He has never been finished. He loses his 4 fights. He lost them all by decision, and I think that he'll lose again by decision because I think Renat's going to be able to control him on the ground, get more takedowns than him, get more control time, do damage on the ground as well. Try to get him in submission positions. He might not be able to get latch up the sub against Nicholas Dalby, but the refs will see that the judges will see that he's trying to get submissions, and that counts. Also, I don't think this fight will stay on the feet. If it does, Renat, he's also decent on the feet, decent striker. Obviously, Dalby's the better striker of the two, but I don't see this fight staying on the feet for very long, and therefore that's why I got Fakhretdinov getting this win here.
okay.
All right, moving on up the card to the next fight here. We got Nasrat Haqparast versus Jared Gordon. I'm not going to talk too much in this one, man. I got to go with Nasrat Haqparast. Jared Gordon just I don't really like him. I don't really think he's that good. He's
I don't
also
like him.
he's also 35 years old. We got Nasrat, who's 28. Nasrat's going to be the taller guy at 5'10", over 5'9". He's also going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. too many advantages: the reach advantage, the height advantage, the younger guy, the better grappler, the better striker, the better fighter. He just too many advantages for Nasrat. Just based on that, I got to go with Nasrat here. Looking at his last few fights there, he's done very well in his last few fights. He beat Jamie Malarkey, that Loda Malarkey. He knocked him out. He also beat a decision on Landon Quinones and a decision on John Makdessi. He did lose to Bobby Green and Dan Hooker, but those are some serious fighters. If we look at who Jared Gordon fought last, he beat Mark Madsden. He got a no contest clash of heads against Bobby Green, lost to Paddy Pimblett, and he also lost to Grant Dawson as well. He got subbed by him. So I'm going to go with Nasrat. I think he fought the better fighters also, and just too many advantages. So I'm going to go with Nasrat. I think he's just a better guy overall.
Yeah, I'd have to disagree about him being the better grappler. I think one thing that will help him out, though, is he's improved his takedown defense, and I think that's what he's going to need. And just to stop the couple takedowns Gordon may throw his way, and if he does that, I think he should coast to a win here. His boxing always was good. He's going to have way more volume, and I think he should just be beating a guy like Gordon now, especially since Gordon is getting up there. Gordon has been through some rough fights lately, getting his brain scrambled up by Bobby Green in the way he did. Give me Nasrat here by decision. The only thing I worry a little bit about this fight is Nasrat doesn't have any knockout power really, or doesn't really try to knock anyone out, and then you're kind of leaving it in the judge's hands, right? But Jared Gooden doesn't really get like any favors from the judges as it is, and I don't think he's getting any in Abu Dhabi, right? So the pick is Nasrat Haqparast, pretty high confidence.
Yeah, just to correct you there, out of his 16 wins, he does have 10 knockouts, Nasrat. So he does have knockout power.
Yeah, then obviously it must be once he got to the UFC, then let me double check here.
Yeah, he's got 10 knockouts and 6 decisions. He has no subs. So if he does win this fight, I think he's going to win by KO or decision in this one.
I want to check this out. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he okay,
He's got 10 knockouts.
Yeah, but only
he knocked out Jamie Malarkey.
Only one in the yeah, that was his second knockout in the UFC, but everyone knocks out Jamie Malarkey these days, so.
True.
Anyway,
he did knock out Joaquim Silva, okay?
Yeah, that was the other one.
That was the other one in the UFC as well there.
Okay, either way, I'm going to be picking the decision for Nasrat here because Gordon, he's still a tough guy enough, so I think he's going to be able to survive until the end of the fight. So give me a Haqparast here.
All right, we are in agreement. Now we are at the main event of the prelims. Shara Magomedov Bullet versus Joelton Luterbach.
All right.
Now this one, before you get into it, I know your turn, but I just wanted to say that Joelton is coming on short notice. Okay, this fight was originally supposed to be Shara versus Ihor Prateria, who withdrew from the fight. So he's coming in on short notice, this guy, Joelton Luterbach.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, though, I think, because Prateria fought, remember, a few weeks ago. He decided to accept that fight, and this one got canceled. So, but in other words, I think I'm saying that, I don't know what I'm saying. Shara had a fight for this event for sure, but Joelton, maybe you're saying he's not ready for this fight.
No.
Okay. So either way, I'm picking Joelton Luterbach because I think the main thing, it's obvious that Shara, what he has to offer are his great kicks. And even then, they're only like really good in the first round. He has halfway decent takedown defense, but he cannot get up if you take him down. That's one thing. I have to give him credit, though. He's pretty active on his back, and he tries to damage people on his back. The thing with Luterbach, and I'm not going to say he's the greatest ever, he's the greatest takedown guy. One thing I think he will do in this fight is be able to catch a couple of those kicks and maybe get a takedown after he does, because he's been working on that. I've seen video for it. And this fight reminds me a lot of when I picked I think it was Ruziboev to win his debut fight, and he was a huge underdog, much like this one here, and he ended up winning that fight. I'm picking Jailton Luderbach to win this fight over Shara, man. I think he's too one-dimensional, Shara. Look, it's possible if that Shara hits him with a highlight crazy kick, but I think Jolton's going to surprise some people. He has a ton of experience, and he's been in there with guys that can kick well, right? So give me Jolton. How? Give me a decision.
Man, Jolton Luderbach is green as fuck, man. He's never fought in the UFC. He's going to make his UFC debut.
He has
Hasn't fought in
48
a year,
fights.
a month. Yeah, he's got 48 fights against bums. All these guys in lower level events. He beat Roberto Benitez, Mohamed Grabinski, all guys in the Brave event. He beat all bums, man. And Magomedov, at least he fought in the UFC in his first fight, and he beat Bruno Silva by unanimous decision. Bruno Silva is amazing, 23-9 guy. So I got to go with Shara Magomedov here. I think he's going to be the better fighter. I think he's going to be stronger than Jolton. Jolton coming in on short notice too. I don't think he's going to be ready for this fight. Shara's been ready for a while. He's also going to be 2 inches taller, so therefore it's going to be harder for Jolton to get the takedowns. I think Shara is going to be able to stuff the takedowns. He's going to land some hard punches. Out of his 12 wins, Shara has, let's take a look here. Out of his 12 wins, Shara's got 10 knockouts and 2 decisions. So my pick is going to be Shara by knockout, man. I think it's going to just be too tough for Jolton coming in on short notice like that. I think Shara is going to land something pretty hard on him and get the knockout win. If not, he'll win by decision there, just based on more output, more volume, and stuffing the takedowns. I don't think Jolton has very much to offer other than the grappling game. So yeah, on the feet, I think Shara is way better. I like the height advantage, and I think that he's been working on his grappling in Russia there. So my pick is going to be Shara Magomedov to get the win. We are in disagreement in this one. A lot of disagreements that we are in these prelims. Let's see how we look in the main card, man. But so far, I think we disagreed on 3 fights in the prelims so far. So like and subscribe, folks. There you have it. These are our early predictions for the prelims.
See you in the next one.
Peace out, folks.